Okay, so it's time to clean out the freezer. Harvest is going to be coming on pretty soon. So we've got a bunch of raspberries, some cherries, some peaches. We're going to go ahead and throw those into a batch of wine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to weigh out the fruit and dump it down into our grain bag here. So I'm just going to weigh all this out. I will write it down, so if it turns out really well, we know what we're going to put in it next time. Okay, so I've got 11 pounds of raspberries in there, and I'm adding 2 gallons of water to that, and I'm going to start heating it up while I weigh out my other fruit and add it. I got the potato masher out. We're going to mash this down as it cooks. So I'll get the other fruit in there, and then I'll come back and let you know what we ended up with. Okay, so we ended up with 11 pounds of raspberries, 1.5 pounds of peaches, and 4 pounds of cherries. So we're still a little light on the fruit. I like at least 4 pounds. So I'll probably add a couple of cans of fruit juice concentrate to it, just to bring up the fruit flavors. So we'll go ahead and heat this up, and we'll keep smashing it down, juicing all these things. And then we'll add some sugar. Okay, so we've got it all in here and we're heating it up. We're going to get it up to 160 degrees. If you can see that, it's at about 110 right now, 109.6. So we'll continue to heat this up till we get up to 160, and then we'll let it pasteurize for about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll add our sugar to it, and then we'll dump it into our bucket. So once it gets up to 160 degrees, we'll be right back with you. I'm going to go ahead and measure out 10 pounds of sugar, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're up to temperature. We took the fruit out so we can stir the sugar in better. I already put in 5 pounds of sugar, and here goes 5 pounds more. We'll just slowly stir it in. Stir that up really good. Make sure all the sugar dissolves into our liquid. Then we'll let our liquid cool a little bit, and we'll dump it down into our bucket. Okay, so we've let it cool down. We're going to go ahead and dump it down into our bucket here. It's still pretty warm. You just want it to cool down enough that your bucket can handle it without melting. So we'll go ahead and finish adding that down in there. Now we're just going to let it sit and cool until we can take our gravity reading and then pitch our yeast. Okay guys, last night I kind of got busy and I forgot to show you a couple of things that I added, so I'll go ahead and show you what I did now. Sorry about that, but first off I added a 1/4 teaspoon of potassium metabisulfite into my must, and then also I added 2 cans of apple raspberry juice just to make up for the fruit that we didn't quite have. So the must has been sitting overnight now under a towel. We'll pull that off. As you can see, it's a beautiful raspberry red color. So we're going to add a few more chemicals to it and pitch our yeast. Okay, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of acid blend. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of pectic enzyme. This will help break that fruit down. I'm going to do 5 teaspoons of yeast nutrient. Then we'll give that a good stir. Might have to remove the bag. Okay, then we'll give it a good stir. Go ahead and get some air in there. Punch your bag down and mix all that up. Then once our yeast is ready, we'll go ahead and pitch that. Okay, so we're going to make a yeast starter. I've got about 1/4 cup of warm water here. About 80 degrees, 85 degrees. And then I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of sugar to that. And then I'll pitch my yeast in and I'll give it a stir. For this batch I'm doing Red Star pasture red yeast. So we'll dump that down in there. And I'll give that a stir. Once we got it all stirred up, we'll just cover it with a paper towel. Make sure nothing gets in there. And we'll let it sit for about 1/2 hour. Taking a hydrometer reading, we're at 1090. So we're going to go ahead and leave it there. And now we'll just pitch our yeast. Okay, so here's our yeast. Nice good yeast starter. We'll go ahead and pitch that into our raspberry. And then we'll cover it with our sanitized lid and airlock. Okay, so we'll just pop our sanitized lid on there and throw our airlock in. And that's it. Now we'll let it sit and ferment.